He's the one you can lean on. He don't change, he stays the same. Won't find a better reason, no. So come tap in, just listen. And bring a friend, let's spread this vision. Let's talk kingdom. He's the one you can lean on. He don't change, he stays the same. Won't find a better reason, no. So come tap in, just listen. And bring a friend, let's spread this vision.
And shalom to everyone. So glad to have you all with us today. I hope that you are having a wonderful time and a great day as well. We do believe and trust in Elohim. He is wonderful, he is holy, and he is more than righteous. Today, we look forward to getting into a subject matter that seems to be leaving Christendom in some form of a funk. I want to try and talk about this yet another day here with you all, but I know that it's going to be a perpetual issue for some. But I want you to really get this in your heads and your hearts. It's a saddening thing to know that what we've done within Christendom has caused us to have some of the difficulties that we encounter with what we see and how we say what we see in the faith. So man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh, who is our Elohim. I want to be able to bring this information to light today. So let's talk about the dreams. You probably are going to want to share this today. For those of you who have come in on the actual Facebook pages and the live streams, please make it your business to hit the live stream. Hit like, hit share. And I think they say subscribe, something like that. So if you would do that, if you're coming in on those platforms, please hit the heart sign, like sign, subscribe, and of course, make a comment. Let us know where you're coming in from. For those of you who are with us also in the YouTube, we ask you to do the same thing. We are going to do a lot of sharing today. So for those of you who are on Clubhouse, you might want to switch over to the Facebook feed because I've got a lot of documentation for you guys today. All righty. You might want to share the room. I think you're going to want to share the room. That's if you want to talk about this in some form of depth. I think we've got a pretty decent program and a case to make for some of the stuff we do. Nothing wrong with what we do. It's just if it's not right, it's a waste of time. Hey, Dudley, good to be with you today, all the way out of the UK. All right. So let's get started with that. Moderators, do I have a moderator? Do I have Minister Jackie on right now? Is she on with us today? Minister Jackie, you here? All right. No, she's not. All right. I'm going to need a moderator to help us today with programming. Do we have a moderator to give us an opportunity to do some of the announcements? New Jersey, I see you out there. All right. So
Pastor Jackie,
what we'll do.
Apostle.
Yes.
Pastor Jackie just entered the room.
Thank you.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom, Minister Jackie. How are you? Are you ready to do? Can you do announcements?
Yes, I can.
Thank you very much.
We just want to thank everybody today being here with us today in the preceding word. The topic for today is the differences of church and Torah teachings on dreams. So while I conclude the rest of the announcements, I would ask if everybody takes the opportunity to share this broadcast. If you're here with us on Facebook or on YouTube, you'll always find us at VWJ Ministries. Don't forget we're here under the preceding word every month Sunday, Wednesday and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll also be back here this evening at 7 p.m. for our weekly Bible study that commences at 7 p.m. And also at 7 p.m. tomorrow on Thursday, we open up for our weekly study as we go through Genesis under our Bible study book club. So please do come and join us as we take a very slow and exhaustive read through the book of Genesis. We open up for our Sabbath studies every Friday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where we are looking at the How to Sabbath, and we take an exhaustive study through the book that you do not want to miss as the Torah. Also, we open back those studies again at 11 a.m. on Saturday morning. Also, we extend an invitation for you to join us here every Sunday morning for our Morrow After Sabbath service, where we open up at 10:15 a.m. We broadcast live through Facebook, and we extend the invitation for you to be with us here in Clubhouse and on YouTube. Please do, if you want to add a comment, we invite you to do that. So if you are on YouTube or Facebook, and also if you have not done so already, we encourage you to follow Apostle, so you'll also be notified every time he opens up for broadcast. Thank you so much for being here with us. Apostle, back to you.
Thank you again, Minister Jackie. We're so glad to have you all the way and from. I know you had to rush to get in here, so I'm grateful for it. We want to talk today, as the title of the room goes, about differences in what we see and say. But can we pray? How many of y'all know that you're not perfect, and that sometimes you can make errors and make choices and go places and do things and say things you may not have intended or meant to say or wanted to say, but find yourself having to say, oops, I should have had a V8. Anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to make sure y'all get it, because it's important to understand that don't ever, ever, ever take somebody and judge them because they sinned differently than you did. Ooh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. So today, as I was talking with another person, I wanted to make sure I helped them understand this, and it made me reflect on myself. I'm like, hey, same thing. Each of you are working together, like the Apostle Paul, like the Apostle Peter, like the Apostle John, to make sure that you are doing and living the best way that you can. That's why man does not live by bread alone, nor does man live by the dictates of a church. Man lives by the word of Elohim, the proceeding word of Elohim, which covers every aspect of your life. So before someone judges you and has their own, what we call their righteous indignation concerning you or anything of that nature, as I had to really counsel with this other brother earlier, I want you to understand, y'all be careful how you judge people because they sinned differently from you. Didn't hurt anybody, but the fact that he sinned and who he was and the position he held, the same church, the same group of people, I should say, which is a part of the quote unquote church at large, that put him up on the pedestal, chop that pedestal down just as quick. So you be careful letting people hype you up, amp you up, get up underneath you and tell you, you great, you so wonderful, you so this, you so that. I don't care how long it lasts, that they are in love with you. They are in love with you until they are not. They are rocking with you until they are not. I don't care how many things have been said to say, oh, I'll never, oh, I always got you, I got you, oh, you with you, and we rocking together. The moment that it's not, it just ain't. And you don't have any control over what that looks like. But one of the things that we say within the leaderships that I work with is, one, we never bother each other when we're late getting in to a meeting. Because if you're a real leader, leaders know leaders got to lead. So people can get in their feelings about, you not being there on time. So I had to help him understand, as well as myself, that listen, in this world, things can happen, times can be as they go. But just because you're late, if they know you're a real leader and you're not late because you're out there messing around, or not messing around, but just doing goofy stuff, most of us leaders know when a leader is late and they had made an appointment, something kept that leader from being there. There might be grace extended, but people can get all up in their feelings because they think they live in a utopic world. And I say that, very broadly, because I see it every single solitary day. And the other thing was, as a brother was sitting there crying, and I had to really bring him into a place of understanding that, listen, people are going to judge you, man, no matter what. And they're never going to remember the good you did. All the many, many, many good things this person did. It was a shame at how they chopped him down, chopped his name down, put him in the mud, made him literally look like the creature from the Black Lagoon because of who they had him hyped up to be. And I know for a fact, I watched him work. He's done a lot of things that are awesome. And he made a choice to do something. And that choice, whatever. But people, if you're going to be saved from you first. Be saved to Elohim, but be saved from your old ways before you met Elohim. And those old ways were finding social justification, gospel, and then not realizing that in social justification and in social injustice, because you feel that you have the right to judge based on a social standard, you murder your so-called brother. And as soon as you want to be forgiven, vindicated, and maybe not even vindicated, just forgiven for an error, you want the whole world to go and fast and pray with you to see you come up and come out of something. And then if they don't like you, you're like, oh God, why they don't like me no more? Well, remember some of the stuff we've sown. So to make sure you don't sow anything that could literally and will come back to roost at your front door, make sure you do unto others as you would have others do unto you. So remember, be careful of letting people pump you up, hype you up, gas you up, because the same ones that inflated that balloon or pushed up that barber's stool, you know how the hair stools, when you go get your hair done, they got those barber's chairs that they put their feet and they cranking it up and they heisting you up and hyping you up. The same ones that actually activated to go up are the very same ones who will bust that balloon, let that hydraulic go, chop down the chair that they feel they built for you. And that's why you don't jump on people's stages. To all of you leaders, and many of you who are with me, and I'm training you to be leaders, and you're with me, and you or we're training together to be leaders, or you're already leaders, and we're trying to enhance and grow and ingrain some real ways to operate. Be very careful of letting people pull you up on their stage they made. Messiah never jumped up on anybody's stage that they made, not in a sustainable scenario where they would be sustained. He would be sustained through being on their stage in perpetuity. Messiah always built every stage he went on. It was funny because he never had a church to preach from, though he did go talk in the temple, which was according to the Moedim. However, Messiah did something very interesting. He went from place to place. He didn't have one spot where he churched. He went from place to place, city to city. And as he went from place to place, region to region, city to city, when people would stop and ask him questions, or he would be talking to his disciples and nosy standby or bystanders or wallflowers came around and asked regarding what he was talking about, and then he expounded more rightly the word of Elohim. He expounded more rightly the things of Elohim. He expounded more great the parabolic teachings, the analogs, and everything that went along, the analogies, and everything that went along with the kingdom and the Torah. He didn't get up on anybody's platform. And let me help y'all with this. There's a difference in being on somebody's platform, i.e. stage, and being in what we should have understood as a pulpit. If you pay attention to anything, I was talking to a minister earlier this week. We're going to pray in a second. We're going to keep our topic for the differences of church and Torah teachings on dreams. But I want you leaders to understand this. When you get pulled up on somebody, when you get hyped up on somebody, when you get gassed up to come up on somebody else's platform to make their platform have some appeal, make their platform have some relevance, don't you dare ever think that will be your sustaining mechanism or your sustainability and something that will be done in perpetuity, because it's someone else's stage. And if they decide to kick you off of it, well, there you go. And then you want to cry church hurt. Leaders. But you followed them because they seem to have the ear of the crowd. Messiah never got on somebody else's stage. Messiah and never let anybody say, hey, I want you to come preach, come preach. He never did that. The apostles didn't even do that. So what we do today in Christendom is based on a Catholic construct or a Christian construct that is not kingdom. The kingdom goes to and fro. And when people ask, the kingdom takes a moment to answer questions, show the truths of it, reveal its truth, and then the crowd gathers. Now watch this. One of the things that we don't pay attention to, though we have the Roman Catholic construct, is the way the Roman Catholic Church built, and the Romans built their cathedrals, and they built their stadiums. We call them amphitheaters. The Greeks did this as well. Rome did this as well. And it was an interesting thing because, you know, we go into church today and we have sound pushed down on us, right? Sound, big old boom boxes, and they pushing all these ohms down on top of us, and these volts and this decimal point on top of our heads, and it's in our ears. But what they did back then, before they had electricity to do that, they had an amphitheater. Now watch, this is interesting because there's a difference in a stage and a pulpit. And most of y'all letting people pull you up on stages because they seem to have a set scenario where people can see you. But what you must understand is that where we are within the faith is we are to be, watch this, in the pit. See, the pit we're in helps a person in the pit get pulled out, because we let you know that we got pulled out the pit, and we're going to show you how to get pulled out the pit. But the interesting thing is when they would gather to talk, they would actually have to sit on the ground, the speaker, and the people were up on stages. Now, that's another deep thing. I don't want to go off the wrong path here, but we are definitely getting outside of the dreams and the differences of church. But I want y'all to listen. The stage, the speaker is down on the ground. Now, there may be a platform to keep him out of the mud, but they're on the ground. There may be wood or some slate of marble, but there may be grass, but they are in the mud. And then where they're speaking is built up around them. I'm talking better than y'all saying amen. So I want you to understand this, that when in fact you start to speak from the dirt, the people are looking down at you, but you are esteeming them higher. So the whole concept of the amphitheater is because sound. Now I'm going to do this in the video. Those of you on Clubhouse, you can't see it, but just imagine, Clubhouse, I have both of my hands, palms together. I'm putting my palms in front of my mouth, all right, but technically my chin. And then I'm going to show you how sound travels. So I have my left hand on the bottom. I have my right hand on the top. I'm then going to open my hand at like a 90-degree angle. So sound, my left hand being the bass, goes out straight, but its sound resounds upward. This is how an amphitheater is built. So if you're on the ground, who's ever on the ground with you is going to hear, and who's ever up in the stands above is going to hear. They never had to use amplification, because there's a natural amplification in that amphitheater. And everybody, no matter how high up, hears the speaker in the dirt, in the pit, talking about how to get pulled out. So they get the option to come and look at you. But the way it's structured and the way you teach to people is you're always looking up to people to let them know, I'm just like you, I'm less than you. And there is a way that we can do this successfully. Amen. Now, one of the quick things I'll give you, and then I got to get back onto our subject matter. I've taken too much time on this. It was 20 minutes. I'll get back to our point, but I want you to realize this, even in what we do when we're speaking upward, One of the miracles we don't talk about when it comes to our Savior, Yeshua HaMashiach, watch this, is the fact that he was on a mountainside and he was up above thousands of people. Somebody say he was above thousands of people.
He was above thousands of people.
Okay, somebody else come off mic and say he was in the mountain.
He was in the mountain.
And they were on the ground.
And they were on the ground.
He never used a microphone system, never had some JBLs, never had a Roth Allen board, did not have any short microphones and or whatever else we got out there. He did not. But what the miracle was, and nobody pays attention to, and all of you leaders, pastors, and I want y'all to pay attention to this, he was in the mountain, so that means he was above the people's heads. Now, how does sound travel? Sound travels from the mouth straight out, and then from the mouth upwards. That's how sound travels. He was already above their heads. How did they hear him? That's the miracle that we don't talk about enough. I'd love to share that with y'all one day. If y'all want me to talk about it, say, Apostle, make a preceding word on that one day. But y'all let me know in the inbox. All right. Let's get into this writ today. Let's talk about some stuff. Y'all been having these issues. Everybody's having dreams, right? Y'all been having dreams and people are telling you that you got to interpret dreams. I want to really bring something to end for the believer, not the Christian, because the Christian church does a lot of stuff to garner support and galvanize people around a doctrine, its vision, its mission, its leaders, whatever. I want to show you something from Torah as opposed to something from mission statements and vision statements, which I do not fight against. I just don't want you associating a person's progressive movement with the preceding word that can bring improvement to your life. All right. So let's just watch this very quickly. Father, we thank you for your word and will. I ask you to bless these, your people. We take opportunity to repent for our sins, our thoughts, our ideals, our mindsets, our words, our actions, anything that could have transgressed your will in our lives. We all take opportunity to say, please check us, shine your light in us. Whatever errors you see, we will confess. Whatever things we will confess. We're just asking you to let your blood rest upon us, to cleanse us, and your spirit and your word rest upon us to grace us and to favor us for you and your kingdom. Help us to be better ambassadors of you than we were today or yesterday. We're asking to be greater in you every day you let us live. So man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of you, Yahweh, and your word, Yahweh, is Torah. So therefore, we thank you for the Bible that contains the Torah. We thank you for the Bible that contains faith. We thank you for the Bible that contains your words. We're asking you now to help us extrapolate and to understand proper process and protocol of your word, your kingdom and its edict and its governance. We crave and we clamor to. Man shall not live by bread alone. So give us your word, we pray you. We're seeking you out. It is the honor, it is the glory of you to conceal matters in your word. And it is the honor of those of us who say we worship you, we honor you, to search it out. Help us search out today, I pray you. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we all say, Amen. All right, everybody. Did y'all like that little appetizer we just had? Was that a good enough appetizer?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Make you think differently about taking every speaking engagement, don't you? Okay, leaders, I'm sorry. I know I'm messing with your pockets. My bad. But be careful. We have story after story after story. I'm a personal testimony of how people think that they own you. You be careful. Because somebody gives you something, say, oh, I want to sow into your life. There's usually something attached. So the appetizer is over. What do y'all want for a main course today? Do you want the difference of the church? We got a surf and turf. You want the church or the Torah? Which do you want when we talk about dreams? So now we get into the entree. Let's have this lunch together. It won't be long. It'll be very quick. Those of you who can view in on Facebook and or YouTube, and if you are there, please hit heart sign, like sign, hit the share, as well as subscribe. I think this is going to be a blessing to you. Clubhouse, here we come. Everybody that's with us. And if you guys have shared this, look at what we're doing here today about dreams. Everybody has problems with dreams. You have a lot of people who have, you know that we have false prophets in the world. We have false prophecy, false prophets in Christendom at large. And there are false narratives, or I should say narratives that do not line up with Torah. Let me not say false, but if it's not true, then it's false. I'm not coming for anybody who practice this actively. I do put this out and suggest we hear, and only the word can judge, and only the word can change a person. My job is to share, as an apostle, the ways of Torah, the governance of his kingdom, the protocols of his kingdom, and then we have to decide as individuals, free will moral agents, whether we want to adapt that or stick with what we think we know. Let's move forward right here and right now. So people have been taught that dreams are prophetic. I will tell you that dreams are very important to life. People will tell you that, they can interpret dreams. If you go on a fast, or you go on a 3-day fast to learn the dream, and God will give you the understanding of the dream. I'd like to show you what the Torah gives us as one, the exact way Elohim sees and uses dreams. Now, for the record, there are 21 dreams from Torah to all the way through to the Brit Hadassa. So the Old Testament, the Torah and the Tanakh has enough, and then you have the Brit Hadassa with another group. So in the total of the Bible, all 66 books, and we're not going to use the 84 book Apocrypha, but in the 66 books of the Bible, from Bereshit to Revelations, you have 21 dreams and a group less than that of dreamers. In the Torah itself, there are 10 dreams which set, cast, and show who are and what are the dreams about. Now, people have said, "Oh, dreams are prophetic." That's okay to say. And then you got to take the prophecy out of dreams. I want to make sure that, because people are calling and checking and having dreams interpreted. I had several dreams yesterday interpreted. I'm seeing this same old modality that has been within Christianity for a very long time. I used to speak very heavy about this back in the day, but now I see I got to bring it back to teach, because everybody, when you get dreams, they are literally important, and they are specific to you. They are specific to you. Okay. So I want to help us see something here. I've got an hour to do this. Y'all gonna pray me that I get through it rightly? Okay, we cleaned away your appetizer dishes. Now we're bringing the entree. All right. Anybody need a water anybody need water or? Okay, I'm just here to serve. I didn't come to be served. I came to serve. Is that all right? Can I serve y'all? I got my waiter D, my maitre D.
Come on, sir.
All right, sir. All right, cool. So let's pay attention closely to this, and y'all pray for me with this technology. I'm gonna see if I can do it the right way I can. There is a way that we began something in Christendom, and it's based on how we used some of the things that were put out there before us. And I want us to sort of kind of get our heads around, what dreams are. There was a narrative that was made for us in, what dreams are. And I want us to really put our head around this concept. So I went on this place, and this is typical Christendom. So if you're watching me on screen, you should see a web page that's up. I love this web page. You all should get to this web page. It can help you pick some things up and understand a few things. But I want to read for you from this web page. It's called Got Questions. Your questions biblical answers. So it's got questions.org, and they have this area on dreams. Well, it goes directly into not dreams, but prophetic dreams. And I want to show y'all where we get our issues about dreams and how we come up with this general broad stroke about dreams. So the question is, what are prophetic dreams? This is what it says. So I'm going to read the answer to you guys, and then we're going to talk about it for a second. Prophetic dreams occur many times in the Bibles, and they are experienced by all sorts of people, including prophets. Daniel chapter 7. Then you have what's known as ungodly kings, right? Daniel's chapter 2. An average man, Genesis chapter 31. And then sometimes the dreams require interpretation, as with Nebuchadnezzar's dream in Daniel 2. Other times, no interpretation was necessary, as God apparently spoke clearly to the dreamer, as in the story of Abimelech and Abraham's wife in Genesis chapter 20. How many of y'all know y'all just read that and we stayed there a long time? The definition also of a prophetic dream might be something like this: a supernatural night vision that contains foresight. I like that statement, I must admit. Daniel was careful to give praise to Elohim, who alone gives the wisdom to interpret such dreams. You saw that in Daniel chapter 2. Now, new statement. It would be impossible to say definitively whether or not Elohim gives prophetic dreams to people today. Now, this is where we have a problem. There are many reports of prophetic dreams, especially in areas where access to the Bible and the gospel are limited. Elohim may sometimes use dreams to guide people to places where they can hear the gospel and be saved. Okay. A wide variety of spiritual or prophetic dreams are reported by a wide variety of Christians in many countries. But one of these are variable to the degree, but none of these rather are verifiable to the degree that we can say, yes, Elohim definitely gives prophetic dreams today. Now, so they go on to say, if you think you have a prophetic dream or have heard of firsthand stories from another person who has had a prophetic dream, the first question to ask is the dream from Elohim? The first question to ask is the dream from Elohim? We want to deal directly with that today. Keep that thought in your head. So it reads on, compare the content of the dream as its message to the scriptures. I agree with that. If anything seems to contradict Elohim's word or his nature, it is wise to disregard the dream, even if it comes true. Okay. Elohim will never go against his word. The Bible is our standard for truth and revelation that Elohim has given. We can always ask Elohim for wisdom. You know that in James 1:5, if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of God when examining a dream. Everybody can do that. It is a very good fact, a very true fact, but I want to make sure you guys understand this paragraph has several things we must address because they have become Christendom's doctrine and narrative regarding dreams, i.e. prophetic dreams or the like. So if you've seeing someone have a dream, the first thing you're supposed to do is see if this dream is of God by, in fact, checking it according to the scriptures. And that's greatly a good comment. But the thing I want to make sure we deal with at first, I'm reading the last paragraph and I'm putting my cursor on it. It says, if you think you have prophetic dreams or heard the firsthand story of someone who has prophetic dreams, the first question is the dream from Elohim? First off, guys, there is any dream, all dreams only come from Elohim. If a dream is pushing you into any direction, it can be considered prophetic, but it is more importantly, as any prophecy is not the telling of a blessing coming. Any prophecy is an instruction. Any prophecy is an instruction. It's telling you of things to come. All right. So when they say first thing you want to do is find out if the dream is from God. Let me be very clear. Let me come off this thing so y'all can see me face to face here. All dreams come from Elohim alone. Evil cannot give you dream. Nothing that's going to give you an instruction about your future. Oh, I don't know if it was pizza I ate or some late last night and went to sleep on it, or some, some pasta in the fridge and I woke up, ate some fried chicken and went to sleep on that. I don't know. So at the end of the day, what is it we're dealing with? Dreams only come from Elohim. Can y'all say that? Say all dreams. What you call them nightmares, you want to call them daydreams, you want to call them visions, you want to call them whatever. Dreams only come from Elohim.
Dreams only come
from Elohim.
So when they make the statement here, that becomes an issue for us to view. I want you to understand that if you think, as it states here, if you in fact think, thank you. If you in fact think that you have had a prophetic dream, you got to question if it came from Elohim. You know that now to be true, they come from Elohim. So you got to compare the content of the dream and its message according to the types of the scriptures, which is also very true. Now, it's not the types of the Bible, but the types of the writ. So if anything seems to be contradictory of Elohim's word, not the Bible, but the word is in the Bible, or if it's contradictory to Elohim's nature, then it is wise to disregard the dream, even if the dream comes true. No, you do not. If the dream came true, then there is an instruction for you in what came true about the dream. To discard that is discarding his instruction, because you paid attention to the main event, what kept your attention, because we're nosy, we like gossip, we like entertainment. We then look at the dream, if it came to pass, and we forget about the dream. Oh, it did happen. Oh, so I dreamed somebody died, and 3 months later, somebody did die. And oh my God, it was just like he said, and I'm a prophet. No, you're not. And what's scary is you're going to hurt somebody else, because now you're going to profit off of telling people you can see and interpret dreams and you have no clue, or you're going to hurt yourself, and thereby others will be hurt as well, because you didn't get the instructions of the dream. You saw what happened. You saw the event. If this type of dream is one that is prophetic, to where something actually happens that was in what you saw. So when you see the dream and you didn't find out later on, it does come to pass, and the person or the situation, something really good, it's similar to what you saw in the dream. It's like, oh my God, I saw this. It did happen. Pookie died. I saw Pookie die in the dream. Fine, wonderful. But Pookie's death is not your concern. You can't stop Pookie from dying. You can't go to Pookie and say, Pookie, you got to stop this or you're going to die. No, Yahweh is telling you, I'm taking Pookie soon. Here is what you need to do to get through the moment. And you have to pay attention to what's going on in the dream. See, because Pookie's event, though prophetic to you, and it's not that Yahweh is in the business. Let me put this out here real loud to all of y'all. Yahweh is not in the business of telling other people your business through dreams. Say that out loud. Yahweh is not in the business of telling my business to other people.
Yahweh is not
telling other people my business.
And more importantly, he's not in the business of telling you somebody else's business. Usually when you see that happen, there's always exception to rule. Usually when you see that happen, that's a familiar spirit. So be very careful. And what I mean by that, let me break that down. Y'all want me to break that down? Because I don't want y'all to get confused. Did I make that seem like that was just about dreams? I should break that down. Should I break that down?
Yes, sir.
Should I break that down? Okay, so let me break it down right way. When people are talking about they're prophetic and they call you up and they tell you what you did when you was 9 years old and how you got through this and this disease and nobody in the church knows about your business. First off, they on a microphone talking to you about your business. That's entertainment.
Facts. 100%.
Got it? Nobody prophesies on a microphone. They prophesy in the ear of the recipient.
That's right.
Got it? If anybody get up and say, I'm prophesying, and they, hey, you come here in the name of you, come here. I want you to come up here. I want to share something with you. Oh, they saw something. There is an actual functioning, literal functioning entity within your holy church. It's called a familiar spirit. And familiar spirit can literally bring up and cause anyone to see anything. Familiar spirits are just that. I'm going to give you guys a measure, and we're going to do a measurement right now. I'm snapping my finger. From that moment I snap my finger, there's a familiar spirit that can come and tell any of you about you up until the snap of that finger. Why? Because that finger snap is now past. Familiar spirits can only tell you of things up to the very present moment you're in. They can never tell you things that are coming for you in the future. The problem is we get so enthralled and so entranced by the operator under the familiar spirit telling you these events up until this point. You don't listen long enough for them to tell you what Yahweh is saying about your future, but you have so much credence in that they did accurately tell you some stuff that nobody but you and God should have known. And now you think like the woman at the well. Remember, I told you there's exception to rule. She was like, hey, y'all, come see a man that told me everything I ever did. Is this not the Messiah? And so we think that that is the litmus test for a prophet. It's not. A prophet is one who speaks Elohim's words. Now, he came to that woman because he had an actual assignment. The assignment was to, in fact, go to Samaria and bring the tribes that were in the northern kingdom into the realization that Messiah, though in Judea, was here on earth. See, that's the deal with the woman at the well. So he was there on assignment, and he let her know that the person you're with, go get your husband and come out here. And she said, I don't have one. He says, you have well said. He says, and the 5 you had, and this one you looking at, the one you're trying to get with now, he ain't the one either. So that is prophetic. Now, what he also does is he tells us something very much more prophetic. He says, listen, if you drink water of me, you shall never thirst again. See, we didn't pay attention to him giving her future reference, which came to pass. And she drunk the juice. She drunk the water, and she never thirst again. So understand how these things, these nuances can slip right under the radar while you're reading the text, because most people are reading to preach rather than reading to live. What do we say? Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh, who is our Elohim, the Adonai. So listen closely. When dreams are being interpreted and people are getting with you and you're seeing moments of prophetic and you got music all engaged and entranced. I love music. I'm a musician. I love music. I love music. Dun, 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 dun. Any kind of music. I love music. But sometimes music can be used as an aphrodisiac. Sometimes music can be used as a entrancement and what's that called? An enhancer to a moment. You can be, mesmerized by music. The rhythm can get right into you, and you need to know that that's a real thing. So at end of day, what you want to see as true is that you are not being mesmerized and tantalized and put into a sensational fit to receive the word of Elohim in a dream. So let me ask y'all a question. I'm going to give y'all something that y'all need to pay attention to. Yahweh prophesies to most people more than they know. How does he do that? Through dreams. You don't need an actual prophet for Elohim to prophesy to you directly. The reason that prophecies are on the intake are because most of us don't understand the importance of our dreams. That's Yahweh directly talking to you and telling you in types, in symbolisms, what you are familiar with and are quick to pay attention to, and then give you type and symbolism and cast or even shadow so that you can see what he is trying to say. So be very careful when you guys, now that you know Torah, don't fall victim to church. I get in trouble when I do that. Y'all praying for me? Okay. So understand that. So when we talk about this passage here, we brought up for this one place, I have nothing against got questions at all, but these are just people answering from commentary and answering from, well, their version of faith. And I'm not against any of it. I'm not coming for anybody. I just want to make sure you understand where we get the generalized area and thought of dream and dream interpretation and the effects or the non-effects of it. So if you think you had a prophetic dream, you got to first find out if the dream is from Elohim. Let me answer that question emphatically right now. All dreams are from Elohim. Can y'all say that? All dreams are from Elohim alone.
All dreams are from Elohim alone.
The devil cannot give you a dream. All right, next. You have to then compare the content. I agree. If anything, if it seems contradictory to his nature and his word, I do not tell you to discard that dream. Do not disregard, do not discard that dream. That dream, though it might seem weird, some of y'all call them nightmares. There is no such thing as a nightmare. Now, let me say this to y'all flat out, to your faces. You don't disregard any dream Yahweh gives you. You don't discard it. You do not discard any dream Yahweh gives you. You might find it and think it to be a nightmare. There are no nightmares when Yahweh gives you a dream. There may be an instruction. There may be a course of messaging that scares the hell you live in out of you, but it ain't a nightmare. Okay? Well, I dreamed about ghosts and demons and goblins and snakes. And let me, can I just please say this for the last time? I'm going to feel bad about this, but I want y'all to really get this. There are 3 elements in our Bibles that we give a bad rap to. Okay? One of them is a part of our enemy. He is a part of our enemy without doubt, but we blame him unrightly and unjustly for any and everything that ever happened to you. And the devil should not be blamed for not even half the stuff he does. The devil is not chasing all of us right now at the same time. So if the devil was chasing me here, Minister Jackie in the UK, Sister Doreen in Dudley, and Sister Shika in South Africa, and Major Daughter in Uganda, South Africa, and Pastor Roach and family, Roche Pather in Uganda, and my dear friends over in Ghana, and our friends over in Vietnam, all at the same time. Satan can't do that. Stop blaming Satan. Everybody can't say the devil's chasing me down or the devil's on my back. It can't be. He can only be at one place. He is not, as we say, omniscient. He is not in the Hebrew like Shema. He can't be at all places at one time. He is not omnipresent, as the Greek would say. He cannot be. Stop blaming Satan for half, matter of fact, 90% of the garbage you do from evil or is done unto you from evil. Evil is an entire tiering system, and it existed, and Satan joined it. Get it? We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principality, power, ruler of darkness of this world, spiritual wickedness in high places. And that's what we wrestle against. And that's a whole myriad and tiering system of authorities and municipalities and powers. Okay, Ethiopia, good to have you with us as well. Hey there, Kibi. So I want you guys to understand that these are the things you got to know. So when you find that what was that statement I was making here with this passage here? Where was I going with this? I want to get back to this. You don't disregard the dream. Don't blame Satan for half the stuff y'all see. Y'all blaming the devil for choking y'all out in dreams. And some of y'all gonna get real mad at me about this. But there is a real issue. There is principalities and powers. And usually the only way something can touch you, the only way witchcraft can bother you, touch you, and affect you is when you give it a dominion in your head. It's like you paying rent to giving somebody rent-free space in your head that has hurt you in the past. And you think because you thinking about them and you hurting over them that they're going to hurt where they are. No, it's ridiculous. Stop giving dead issues rent in your head. If you give the concept of evil, witchcraft, Obi man, the voodoo man, the witch doctor, if you given these spirits of this and spirits of that, if you give them space in your head, then they dominate you. You keep your mind stayed on him who keeps your mind in perfect peace, and those things can't come into your head. You don't give credence to them. They don't live alive inside of y'all. Stop it. Oh, I'm under spiritual attack. Yeah, because that's all you're thinking about. I got plans for you, plans of good, not of evil, says Yahweh. Plans of good, not of evil, plans to give you an expected end. So if you keep your mind stayed on my plans, evil can't come nigh you. He says it in Psalms 91 as well. There are many places I can take you, but we have to first stop this narrative we have learned and have had nurtured in us through the culture of ignorance within Christendom. You think about it, that's all you're going to see. So we have to stop blaming the devil for half the stuff that we do. Another person we got to stop blaming is Judas. Judas is not a bad person. Judas did wrong. But Judas was also created to do that very specific thing by Yahweh himself. I have a hard time thinking Judas is not now in the presence of Elohim. He's not in hell. I do not believe Judas is in hell. He betrayed Jesus. That's your nature, and your Shanae and Charlie want to say stuff. That's human nature. Yahweh used that human to give us life. He did his job. I don't know if Yahweh don't let people who he hires to do a job and then they do that job and then he doesn't reward them. I do not believe Judas is not in heaven. I do not believe Judas is in hell. I do not believe that, because he did exactly what Yahweh sent him to do. You don't believe me? Read John chapters 14 through 17 and understand that we did not lose one save the son of perdition, who we actually scheduled to do these things. And when Judas came to his senses, because he had to be overtaken, we don't know why. What happened? Judas hung himself, but we don't know if Judas repented before he fell headlong and his bowels gurged open to him in the Valley of Achor. So please understand, stop blaming Judas when Judas only did his job. Stop hating Judas. Now, the third thing, finally, we blame Satan, we hate Judas for reasons y'all need to be careful. Then you got this other guy. In day number 6, Elohim created all the animals, all the herbs. He created all the trees, all the fruit that had seed within it. He then created he also then created the cattle of the field. He created the livestock. He created the creeping things. He created the beasts of the field, and then he created the human. All of them he made in day 6. Now, I want y'all to answer this question for me. Come off mic. Prepare yourselves. I'm giving you a couple seconds. I'm going to drink some tea here. Tell me if I'm wrong, but did Yahweh say at the end of day 6, when he made day 6, it was good?
Yes, he did. Yes, sir. He said it was good.
He said it was good. And then when he made man, After he made for man everything that was good, he made man, and then he says it was very good. Did he not?
Yes, he did.
Did he say anything he made in day 6 was bad?
No, he didn't.
No, he did not. We're still talking about dreams. I'm trying to help you how we got here. He said it was good, and then he said it was very good, right? So nothing he made in day 6 was bad. Well, the serpent, along with the human, were both made in day 6. Neither one of them are bad, but they both have this common scenario. They can be overcome by evil. Are y'all hearing me today?
I'm getting it.
Y'all getting this now? So stop calling when you see a snake. So my point to this is that the serpent, before it became a snake, slithering, a serpent was overcome by evil. Some of y'all got the audacity to think it was the devil. The devil didn't overcome the serpent. Now, Yahweh references the devil as a serpent, that old slew-foot serpent, right? He references him as a serpent because a serpent has a particular set of skills. Anybody know the skills of that perfectly made serpent that Yahweh put in that serpent? Let me help you. Messiah says you need to be it said in the writ that you have to be as wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove. A serpent is wise. Is that not a good thing? A serpent is subtle. He knows how to operate and move. He waits for moments. He recons, he checks things out. He don't just jump right in. He figures it out. He's subtle, he's slick, because he's got to survive. Oh, y'all don't have to talk to me. It's okay. I'm going to give it to you anyway, because we need to understand this. So when you realize that the serpent was made good, it was overtaken by evil. Didn't it say that evil entered into the serpent? It then made an argument to do contrary to Elohim's word, to Elohim's dominion, which would be man. And man fell victim to the question, curiosity, if you want to say it, killed the cat. Well, he wasn't a cat, killed the man. Right? Trying to figure out, can I be greater than God? Is it true if I take this fruit, I'll be just like God, even though I don't have anything that God has not given me? Everything that I would have comes from what I've already been given. But I'll know more than God. I'll know as much as God. I'll be like God. Well, he already made you like him. But man's curiosity, based on an argument that evil got to him, to say, if you eat this fruit, God's holding back on you. Curiosity got man, man ate the fruit. But the serpent, though cursed, is not evil. Did the woman get cursed? Talk to me.
Technically, no.
Yes, he did.
Yes, she did.
She did.
Her body got cursed. That's why the women have to have babies with what's that called? Prenatal. What's that? Morning sickness. You got contractions that are very, harsh, right? That wasn't supposed to be the case, because that's what Yahweh says. That's how you're going to bring forth children. So if he says that's how you're going to bring forth children, then they wasn't supposed to bring forth children like that. That's the curse. Her emotions are on 100 all times. That means that her emotions wasn't supposed to be on 100 at all times. That's the curse. Somebody say the body got cursed. Say it. Come on, you can say it. It's okay.
The body got cursed.
And so now when you understand that the serpent also got its reward, because Adam said, this woman you gave me, Yahweh dealt with the woman. She said, this serpent, Yahweh dealt with the serpent. But then Yahweh cursed the ground for man's sake. So the body of the woman got cursed and the body of the serpent got cursed, because the serpent had to be standing upright and erect on either 2s or 4s, not crawling like a cylinder. He got cursed. It got cursed to crawl on a cylinder. So because of that one curse on the female body, every human female body since then now deals with cramps. They deal with morning sickness. They deal with all the things that go with conception of baby and delivery of child, and the emotions are on 10. Every woman after that. Therefore, the serpent, when that one serpent, of all the different types of serpents that were on the earth, there were different versions of serpents on the earth. One version, one particular serpent came and was overcome and was pushed to do what he did. Not all the other serpents. The rattlesnake wasn't there. The king cobra wasn't there. The serpent, even today in its scientific render, in its category and cataloging, is a beast of the field. That's what Yahweh made in day number 6, and it was good. But what happened was, because of the curse, all serpents now no longer erect. All of them crawl upon the ground and they eat dirt and dust. But they are also a very important and essential part of our ecology. If you don't have serpents, you're going to have an overrun carrier area of mice. You're going to need more than a Pied Piper to get them out. You're going to have other types of little reptiles or little rodents and things of that nature that these serpents consume. They are a part of a perfect ecosystem. So why am I going this route with you about serpents? Because everybody has taught you guys, especially in Christendom, that the serpent is evil. Because you see it in 3 accounts in your Bible that reference some negative form. But one of those forms, when he says you got to be as wise as a serpent, harmless as a dove, why would he want us to have that nature? Oh, so you got to be venomous. A serpent has to be venomous. Toads are venomous. Y'all don't have a problem with that. They have to do that. That's how they live. That's their survival and their feeding mechanism. We act like they got venom because of the curse. The only thing changed on them was their bodies were made cylinders, no longer standing erect on either 2 legs or 4 legs. They are now made circular cylinders that slither on the ground and up and in the trees and all in the grass and all that stuff, but they are not evil. Now, you heard also, well, from now on, the head of the woman going to bruise the head of the serpent, the foot of the serpent, and y'all, and it was all got misconstrued because you're not understanding. He's talking about evil. He's talking about, but he did say, Yahweh did say in the process, since the woman and the serpent were a part of this and were overcome by the evil, he said, you guys are going to hate each other. Didn't mean the serpent or the woman was evil. See how we went off the tracks with this? Y'all not going to talk to me? Nobody going to talk to me. Okay. See, now we got every evil spirit connected to a serpent, the python spirit, the rattlesnake spirit, the king cobra spirit. We do way too much. We got all these spirits and all of them connected to the serpent. And so when people see snakes in a dream, and because of the way they look all slithery like that, it looks a little goofy. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't trying to be around a whole bunch of snakes. I understand this situation, but snakes do know that you have dominion in the earth, just like the lion does, but he'll eat your behind if you show fear. That's just the way it is. That's the code of the jungle. But if they know, they know you got dominion. The issue is they need to smell. That's why their tongue comes out. They got to smell with that tongue whether or not you got fear. The lion listens and he opens his nostrils. The smell of fear is on you. Because that's why a dog looks at you and growls, because he's smelling if there's fear on you. If there's fear on you, you a 2-piece with biscuits and gravy.
Oh, well.
Those are facts.
Questions, Apostle.
Those are facts. So what I want y'all to understand when it comes to these dreams, that you guys stop seeing serpents in the dreams and thinking, oh, bad is coming my way. No, it doesn't necessarily mean that. Serpents are very good. Serpents come to get rodents at your life, spiders at your life, pests out your life. A python is a perfectly made beast by Elohim. He has his part to play in society. And yes, he strangles out. But that power of the python strangling and a boa constrictor strangling and any other snake strangling and loosening its jaws to consume its meal is no different than a whale who will consume whatever it consumes. Orca eats the whole thing live, bites it once, knocks it out, stuns it, and eats it live. A jellyfish poisons it, eats it. Y'all don't have the gel. I don't see a jellyfish spirit. I ain't heard about the octopus spirit. All I hear about is the python spirit. I ain't heard about the jaws spirit or the humpback whale spirit. Let's stick to what the word says. I curse that jellyfish spirit right now. If it's grape jelly, I want it anyway. But give me the strawberry jellyfish. Is there a strawberry jellyfish spirit? I want the strawberry jellyfish spirit. Let's bring it to the altar so I can put some peanut butter on the bread with it. God, oh, with the whole grain spirit. Yes, Lord. The whole grain spirit and some peanut butter spirit and the strawberry jellyfish spirit. Ayata. Yes, Lord. Man shall not live by bread alone, but that's some good bread with the jellyfish spirit and the peanut butter spirit on it. Yes, Lord. I think I might have one for lunch today. Yes, Lord. Thank you. Thank you for nutrition. Okay. So I got to get through this. I don't want to have no more. I do love orange marmalade. How you know about that, Daphne? What you know about that orange marmalade?
That is the best.
What y'all know about that? What y'all know about that?
Southern bread.
Man, listen here. Look at here. All right. So back to the point of what we got to. So dreams, guys, are not something that you have to deal with and worry about in a negative vein. They only come from Elohim. And the reason you get dreams, guys, is because your flesh is too active. Let me pull you up on this passage. Moderators keep cue. I want to pull this passage up for you guys so you can understand this. Now, this comes from another writing. You can pull these things up on your own. I want you to catch them. As we share this right now, help me real quick. So there is this place in this article I found was very, very helpful for today. I can explain this all day long, but they did a very good job of this. And I'm going to put this up on screen for you guys so you can watch it. And yes, it does come from a Judaism, but there are things in Judaism that deal with Torah specifically. And y'all heard me say all the time, chew meat, throw bone away. Well, this is some good meat. Don't be tripped up and conflicted because I say this. All right. So I want y'all to look at this in the best possible or the truest form and light that we can give you. Okay. I want you to get this. So under this, Judaism, dreams, and then dream interpretation. Good dreams, bad dreams, do they mean anything? Now, here's where they look at it. I gave you the Christian view. Now I'm going to give you Judaism's view. The Bible expresses the belief that dreams can contain revelations on high as the dreams of Jacob. And Usef and Pharaoh in the books of Genesis. The prophetic vision, the Bible states in Numbers chapter 12, comes in a dream. A rabbinic saying has it that a dream is a 60th of a prophecy. All right. And these are from guys like Maimonides. And they developed this theory that in dreams, the imaginative faculty is awakened, without which prophecy is impossible. There is a good deal of material on dreams, and they speak from the Talmud. Right? But a degree of ambiguity about the efficacy of dreams. In one Talmudic passage, it implied that dreams are manifestations of the unconscious. Now, as Freud suggests, or at least this is a meaning that can be given to the Talmudic statement that a man is only shown a dream, that of which he thinks during the day. Now, that is a philosophical viewpoint. that is not where we're headed, but it is something that Judaism does put out for its people in a part of its viewing. Now, the legal status of dreams in matters of law. People try to use dreams in law to get stuff going. I'm going to read through this very quickly, but I want to make sure that this is a part of the bone here. In law, in matters of law, information obtained in the dream is disregarded. The illustration is given of a man whose father appeared to him in the dream, informed him of some sum of money that was hidden in such a place, in such a place. He had designated by him for charity. It belonged to the poor, right? That's what the father had intended, that the money would be for the poor. That's what he told him in the dream. Now, the ruling by the judge was that the ruling given was that the dream could be disregarded and the son could keep the money for himself because he found it at such and so point, but only in the dream does it say this money is for charity. So the courts are like, you found the money, you keep the money, it was in your house, you didn't rob anybody, and we can't, if you want to give it to charity, you can do what you want to do, but for us, the ruling is the money is for you to keep. Now, while a rabbinic scholar might occasionally claim that a suggested interpretation of a biblical or Talmudic text came to him in a dream, the habit of one Yaakov Merej of using, which is from 13th century, of using information conveyed in a dream to him as an authority in law was extremely unusual. So after fasting and employing other techniques, this guy Jacob would present the halakhic Jewish legal queries to heaven, to which he received replies in a dream. So after fasting and employing other techniques, Jacob presented from a halakha some queries up into heaven, which he got replies. The replies came in dreams. These replies are recorded in Jacob's work entitled Responsa from Heaven. We should not be surprised that according to the work, heaven always had the same halakhic opinion of this French Talmudist. Get it? So when you do halakha, when you do Talmud, when you do Torah, you're going to get that impression and opinion from that which you are most likely preferring. So now let's move on to the part that I really want to talk about. That's this part on interpreting and interpretation of and fasting. The Talmudic statement that a dream depends on how it is interpreted, puzzling to the more philosophical mind, is discussed in also the Responsa of Solomon Abin Adret. Now, based on a Talmudic passage, a special ceremony developed for interpreting for a good or a bad dream, the procedure was for the man who had the dream to say to three other persons, I had a dream and I do not know what to make of it. And they would reply, three other men, the dream is a good one. It is for your good. Now, many people disturbed by a bad dream would fast in order to ward off the possible evil effects. The rabbis allowed such a fast to be undertaken even on Sabbath in order to release the man from his anxiety. But they required him to undertake, watch this, another fast because they fasted on the Sabbath. So again, my point to you guys is that there are rabbinical, there are Judaism and Christian viewpoints of what dreams should be like and be a part of. I want to make sure we're clear that these things do not fit Torah. Now, you just heard me talk from Judaism, but what did they mention the most when I talked about the article from Judaism? And let me make sure I give proper credit to that place. It was called myjewishlearning.com. And this is where many of you guys go to get information. Chew meat, throw bone away, please. All right. So what was the big thing that they talked about in myjewishlearning.com? What was the main thing that they talked about? You never heard them say Torah. They only said halakha, Maimonides, Talmud. You get it? So you got to understand you're dealing with an element. What did they do in Christendom when the Christians told you what dreams were and what they're supposed to be done? These are the things that you have been told. Now let's go to the Torah and let's see what the Torah says. This is why you have to study to show yourself approved to Elohim. Stop going on the hype and the hyperbole of what goes on in your preferred arena and genre of religious faith, unless it's the word of Elohim. None of this so far is the word of Elohim. Let's show you how the word of Elohim really applies to the lives of them who get dreams. First, we know, and I can just give you a couple of quotes. The first thing we understand is that Yahweh will speak as he told you in those days. He will give dreams unto dreams. Old men will dream dreams. Young men will see visions, right? All of these things shall happen. That's what Yahweh has done. Now, there are only 10 dreams that we know about in the Torah. Pay attention. Let's get into this so we're all going to be on the same page. Ready? Now, what he does here is he makes it clear. There's another page I want you to catch. And this one is a page, it is called overviewofthebible.com. I like them because I use them frequently, and they do use a pretty even-keeled approach. They're somewhat knowledgeable of Torah, but they're basically Christendom, but they do deal with these things from a objective viewpoint, and they do have a very good view of some of these items, and you can glean, pick and choose. Remember, y'all, chew meat, throw bone away, right? Don't choke on it. So, infographic every dream in the Bible and what they mean. Now, these are very true, and I can back these up 100%. Here are the dreams of the Bible. So here it is. Sometimes in the Bible, Elohim communicates to people in dreams. Some of them are symbolic, like the dreams in Daniel. Some of them involve explicit instructions from Elohim. Dreams fascinate this author, and they figure that they're interesting to you as well. So since Elohim has revealed some of his word through dreams, I thought it might be cool to find all the dreams in the Bible. So this Bible geek went and made this list for you. There are 21 dreams recorded in the Bible. There are literally 10 in the book of Bereshit alone. Judges has one, Kings has one, Daniel has 3, and Matthew has 6. 21 dreams total. Now watch this. So there are 6 dreamers. 6 of them were kings. There were 6 kings who dreamed. There was 1 woman who dreamed, and there were 2 people named Usef who dreamed. Okay. Now all of them were asleep when the dreams happened. So these are dreams in the REM state. These are not visions. These are not day visions. These are them in dreams. Are y'all learning anything today? Do I need to stop, or have y'all shared this? Or y'all gleaning anything of significance today? I just need an amen or some kind of a mark.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I want y'all to catch this. Look at this next piece. He goes on to say that the dreams, and you and I have just read this one. If you've been with me, and like you'll be with me tomorrow, and I pray anyway, in the Bible Book Club, we just talked about Abimelech's dream, right? When he took Sarai's wife. So he brings this up right off the top. Here are the dreams. Here's the first one you got. Abimelech's warning. Abimelech is not saved, but Abimelech does not know God, does not know Yahweh. He just chooses other demigods to serve, and he caches Elohim like the Chaldeans did. Those people Yahweh told Moshe to get away from. And so therefore, Yahweh visits Abimelech in a dream, right? So Elohim stops Abimelech in a dream, who is the king of Gerar, from sleeping with Sarai. You can read that in Genesis 20, Bereshit 20. You have another dream, this guy named Jacob. It's called Jacob's ladder. Jacob sees angels ascending and descending on a ladder between earth and heaven. Okay? Now I want y'all to catch this. Abimelech's warning was instructional. Anybody remember how instructional Abraham's dream was? Can I give it to y'all real quick? Can I help somebody real quick? Can we show y'all how clear Abimelech's dream was? Yahweh himself appeared at Abimelech and said, bruh, you a dead man. You and everything you own. If you touch that woman and you don't give her back to her husband, my prophet, you gonna die. By the way, what I'm going to kill you with is already inside of you and everybody you know. So once you return her to her husband, let the husband, my prophet, pray for you so what I put in you comes out.
Come on, Apostle.
Is that an instruction or what?
It's an instruction.
Thank you. Okay. Let's move on. Nobody else want to join us, but that's okay. Everybody just sitting there. That's it. Say the dream is an instruction.
Dream is an instruction.
Okay, let's get back to some of the other dreams that you see in this passage, in this thing. So Jacob's ladder, Jacob sees an angel ascending and descending on a ladder between heaven and earth. Now, what was that instruction? Yahweh is letting him know that I am with you. You have angels that are working on your behalf. Even this one you're detaining. He's going to change your name to Israel. And you know that I am now with you. Instructions. All right, here's another one. Jacob he gets another dream. Now that was in Bereshit chapter 28. Well, this one's is in Bereshit chapter 31. Yahweh tells Jacob to return to the land of his father. Say instruction.
Instruction.
Watch this. Yahweh then dreams to Laban. Laban gets a warning in Genesis 31:24. Yahweh, our Elohim, warns Laban not to mess with Jacob as he heads home. Somebody say an instruction. I'm not moving till somebody say instruction.
Instructions.
Thank you. Y'all see y'all having a problem following instructions. Is very clear to me today. All right, let's talk about these two Usefs. One Usef dreams of grain. One sheep stands straight up. 11 others bow to it. Usef's stars, the sun and the moon and the stars bow down to Usef. Okay, now both dreams signify that Usef's family will bow down to him. But here's the catch to this, y'all. I want y'all to pay attention. So people say, well, if I get a dream, Yahweh will give it to me to interpret. Not after Messiah. Not after Messiah and not after the prophets. Once Messiah died, rose again, resurrected, fulfilled everything, dreams now require an interpreter, i.e., that's why you have the Ruach HaKodesh. So that's why after Pesach, you have to have Shavuot. That's why the enemy is so happy we're calling Shavuot Pentecost, because we're caught up in trying to speak in unknown tongues. And Yahweh is trying to get you to understand the celebration of the purpose of Ruach HaKodesh. Well, who knows the purpose of Ruach HaKodesh? Well, in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, there are certain lists of instructions that are the job of Ruach HaKodesh. Let me take you there very quickly. Are y'all okay with this? Can I help y'all just a little bit? Are y'all all right?
Come on, Apostle, let's go. Amen.
Let's go. I want to help y'all. I'm gonna pull my Bible up on screen now. I'm gonna take off that page we were just on. You can go to that page and get this information, but I'm gonna come back to that page because I want to talk to you about at least the 10 dreams. All the major dreams were in the Torah. Anybody know the name of the Torah? What do we call the Torah? Anybody say your name and tell me what you think it is. What is the Torah, y'all? Come on.
Jackie.
Minister Jackie, go.
The first 5 books within our Bible.
Okay, that's good. Give me something deeper. What do we call the Torah? Thank you for showing us where it is.
Yolanda. The word.
Pastor Yolanda, go.
The instructions.
What do we call it again, Pastor Yolanda?
The instructions.
The book of instructions. Good job. Okay, now let's move on from here because I want to show y'all this. Go with me to 1 Corinthians chapter number 12. I put this up on the screen for you. KYC, where y'all at? KYC? See, I've been teaching y'all stuff all this time just so y'all, when it comes back around in a different way, you'll understand it better. Are y'all glad y'all came through KYC?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Just 3 of y'all? Okay. All right. So 1 Corinthians chapter 12, I want y'all to understand. Somebody say the job of the Holy Spirit. Somebody say the job of the Holy Spirit. Paul says, now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you to be ignorant. You know that you was Gentiles. You know that you was Christians. Well, he didn't say Christians. He said Gentiles. I'm saying Christian. You know you was Christian, churchy. You know that you were Gentiles, carried away with these dumb idols, even as you were led. Wherefore, I now give you to understand that no man speaking by Ruach HaKodesh will ever call Yeshua accursed, and that no man can say that Yeshua is Adonai or is Messiah, but by Ruach HaKodesh. Now, there are diversities of gifts, but the same Ruach HaKodesh. There are differences of administrations, but the same Adonai. Verse 6. And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same Elohim who works all in all. Verse 7 says, but the manifestation of Ruach HaKodesh is given to every man to profit withal. So he says he taught you. Look at this quickly in verses number 4. Verse number 4 is about Ruach HaKodesh. Verse number 5 is about Adonai. Verse number 6 is about Yahweh. He just gave you the Godhead. Then he says in verse 7, but I only want to talk about Ruach HaKodesh. Do y'all see that?
Yes, sir. Amen.
Okay, so he makes this very clear distinction, but I only want to talk about Ruach HaKodesh because the Spirit is given to every single solitary human to profit every single solitary human with all that he or she has to do. Verse 8, for to one is given by the Ruach HaKodesh a word of wisdom, to another the word of knowledge by the same Ruach HaKodesh. Verse 9, look at it, y'all. To another, faith by the same Ruach HaKodesh. To another is given gifts of healing by the same Ruach HaKodesh. Verse 10, to another working of miracles, to another prophecy, to another discerning of spirits, to another diverse kinds of tongues, to another the interpretation of tongues. But all of these gifts work by that one and self same Ruach HaKodesh, who he divides to every man severally as Ruach HaKodesh wills. Oh, that reads completely different, don't it? Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
So now while we look at that and understand the job of Ruach HaKodesh is to help you with that says interpretations of tongues, but it also tells us later that it deals with the interpretations of tongues. Well, a dream is also considered a diverse kind of tongue because it's a communication to you. It's okay. Just let it. I'll just keep moving. All right. So let's go back to the dreams. Are y'all ready for that?
Yes.
So now let's get back to infographic. And the infographic tells us about Usef's grain, Usef's stars, right? Now, here's the thing, because everybody thinks that, well, if I get a dream, I can just try to measure it up myself and then I can interpret it myself. You cannot interpret your dream. Listen, y'all know that Usef, and you're going to learn in a few minutes, also was an interpreter of dreams. But who knows what happened when Usef got his personal dreams? What did he do with them? If you know, come off mic and say your name. Dead air, I can't wait. Thank y'all, though. Listen, so some of y'all get prepared to engage me with this because I want somebody to volley with me because this makes more sense. Otherwise, it sounds like I'm just beating a dead horse and I become monotone to the people. If you help me because you know I'm teaching truth, then I need somebody to volley back and forth with me so others can be, not mesmerized by my voice, but can also hear another voice and another voice who was confident. So I want to ask someone or a couple of y'all to volley back and forth with me, say your name, of course, and we're going to go back and forth. But I want you to catch this. So some of you that can prepare, please do it. When Usef, though we all know in advance that retrospectively that Usef was used to interpret Pharaoh's dreams, and he was also used to interpret the dreams of the butler and the bread, the butler and the wine bearer, the butler and the baker, right? He could interpret those dreams. But what happened when he got his own personal dreams? What did he do with them?
Wanda Clark.
Go, Wanda. Go, Wanda.
His personal dreams, he spoken to his brothers in them.
Okay, he told them to his brothers in them. Do you think he was trying to get an understanding of those dreams?
No, he just was blurting out what he was told or what he discerned.
I believe he was getting an interpretation because he don't know how to interpret. We know in hindsight what it meant.
Oh, okay.
We have read the book. We read the end. He was in it. He's like, brothers. He's like, brothers, I don't understand this. I got this dream and I got it a couple times. So I'm trying to figure it out myself, right? You can't figure out your own dreams. And because I interpret dreams, don't know why Yahweh chose me, but I can't interpret my own dreams. I have to take my dreams to another vetted interpreter. I don't even waste my time. I write my dreams down and I call and we chat, we sit down, and then I can see what it all is because I have my own personal imagery and personal aspirations. And Yahweh is trying to get a point to me and a point to you across when your flesh is asleep.
Yes, sir.
So as long as your flesh is awake, it'll always interject a message from Elohim. That's why dreams come when you are entered into a REM state, random eye movement state of sleep. Your eye is moving behind your head. Doctors will tell you one thing. Here's what Ruach revealed to me, because you're seeing things in the spirit realm. So when Yahweh comes in and gives you types and symbolisms and characters of people you know, both alive and deceased, when you get images of friends and foes, when you get images of colors you like and colors you don't like, when you get images of serpents and elephants and giraffes and deers and different moon settings and the grass and gravel and concrete, the color of the walls, the size of the doors, the archways in the door, the windows, the thresholds, the ceiling fan, all these different things, they all mean something because they meant something to you. And Yahweh uses what has your attention naturally to get his spiritual point across to you. But you have to have someone interpret them because you're going to see all of them as something. So if you see say someone's mother transition, you see your mother in a dream. Christendom traditionally has told you in some cases that, oh, well, that's death. And, you may be going to join your mother soon. I'm so sick of this mess. And then they tell you, well, I see fish, and fish in the dream means somebody's pregnant. Y'all stop. I saw a serpent, and that means that somebody is trying to snake you in the back and bite you in the back, and what that's about. So and then the colors of the snakes, the size of the snakes, then the colors of the people, and what they got on matters, what colors they're wearing matter, whether they got hair or not got hair. There are symbolisms that connect to Torah that when another interpreter who has no dog in this fight can sit down and objectively hear from Ruach, pray with you, and then from that perch, Yahweh will begin, Ruach HaKodesh, who gave the dream, will remind you of the dream, and then since he's the decoder of all things Torah, will show you what the dream means. But it requires there to be another and not you. Usef could not interpret his own dream. Watch. He took one dream to his brothers. They laughed him to scorn. Now, we know technically they were sort of kind of on clue, but it took the brothers to make sense of it. Then he gets another dream with the stars and the moon and the sun, and he takes it to his brothers again. They get really upset with him and say, Dad, this joker tripping. He goes down. He's like, I don't know. I'm just telling you what I see. And it's not what I feel, because I love y'all. Y'all my big brothers. Y'all over me. I don't know what this means. I don't understand this. And then Dad hears it. Mom hears it at dinner. And they're like, so what? We're supposed to bow down to you, boy? Now, Usef was loved by Jacob, but Jacob was like, boy, you done went too far. Little picnic, you done went too far. Get over there and sit down somewhere. We supposed to bow down to you. And so you got to understand that you can't interpret. You can't interpret your own dreams. It requires Yahweh giving you one who will with you, and no dog in this fight, no pony in this race. Confidential, trustworthy, in the writ, a sage of the writ, to share with you what those interpretations are about, what those symbolisms and how they are to be interpreted. Are you guys understanding more about this?
Yes, Apostle, very much.
You sure? So Usef can't interpret his own. He goes to his dad. His dad gives him, it's like, boy, get out of here. Now Usef, Jacob was not Jacob, Usef's dad, was not totally jacked up because he had his own set of dreams. Now, see, before Yahweh gave us Yeshua, Jacob got a dream because, Yahweh showed him just insight into heaven. Jacob or Abimelech got Yahweh to come directly to him. I mean, directly. Look here, boy. You a dead man walking. Matter of fact, you a dead man sleeping. You got a short few hours when you wake up to get that woman back to that man, or I'm pulling your number and everybody who with you. I shut this whole kingdom down. You hear me? Nobody having babies. Me by myself okay, I'm sorry. Listen, so let me stop. Father, so listen. You got to be from Philly to understand that. Okay. Somebody got it. Okay, you got to be from Philly to understand that. Hey there, Kenya. How y'all doing? Shabbat shalom, shalom alaikum to you guys over in Kenya. Good to have you with us. So when you understand that the interpretations come from Ruach HaKodesh, not from some prophet, you got to understand this. So let me go back to this and get these things back on screen for us to work with. Now, Usef takes his dreams to his dad and his brothers to get interpretation because he himself don't know. But watch this. Now we start talking about 3 branches and 3 baskets. I'm looking at the screen. If you're looking at the screen, you should be able to see this. The next set of dreams is there's 3 branches and 3 baskets. One is the cupbearer who presses grapes from a vine, and he gives them to Pharaoh. So here's the catch. Yahweh uses symbolisms of what you do and what you love to get your attention. The cupbearer presses grapes. Yahweh uses grapes. The baskets of bread, the next one. 3 baskets. The baker carries 3 baskets of bread on his head, and the birds eat it. Yahweh used bread to catch the baker's attention because that's what the baker loves. That's what he does. Both dreams signify that these men's fate are in 3 days. 3 branches, 3 baskets. Y'all see how these types go? Now, you can't just assume because you see one interpretation, you can do them all the same way. No. Right? So both dreams signify these men's fate. After 3 days, the cupbearer is restored to honor. The baker is executed. Next set of dreams that Usef interprets are Pharaoh's cows. 7 fat cows come up from the Nile to graze, but 7 thin cows devour the fat cows. Then you got Pharaoh's stalks. 7 plump ears of grain grow up on a single stalk, but then 7 thin ears swallow them up. Who would have known? Both dreams signify that Egypt will go and undergo 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. Watch. 7 years of plenty on the livestock, 7 years of plenty on the grain. and then 7 years of famine in both arenas. But Pharaoh and all of his witches and all of his spiritualists couldn't interpret this. So I'm trying to tell y'all, stop letting people who tell you I'm a prophet, stop letting people who tell you I'm a pastor, stop letting people who tell you I'm an apostle, stop letting people who tell you you're going to come to my school, we can teach you how to interpret dreams. You cannot teach the interpreting of dreams or prophecy. You cannot teach somebody how to prophesy. Stop spending your good hard-earned money on non-effective scams. And unfortunately, the people running these don't even know this is nowhere near accurate. They got it from someplace and then they ran with it because it can generate capital. I'm not saying everybody got a school of prophecies and everybody got a school of prophets and everybody got a school of dreams is trying to scam. They are legitimately and literally, I think, in many cases, trying to help people. But you're understanding you're propagating a narrative that is not Torah backed. It's not even biblically backed. There are no schools of dream interpretators. Matter of fact, there is a school, one school. It's called the Ruach HaKodesh. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 1 through 12. Boom, it sits right there. That's Ruach HaKodesh's job to bring back all things Yahweh tells you back to your remembrance once you wake up from your flesh being asleep. Because as long as your flesh is awake, in most cases, he can't talk to you like he needs to talk to you. So once you go to sleep, then he comes and gives you what you need in your dreams. And those things are always instructions for what's coming ahead. That's why it's important to get them interpreted immediately. You come back with a dream 4, 3, 5 years later, and oh, I had this dream 8 years ago. The instructions missed by now. You know, it's gone on. All right, you got to get back into it and figure out what it is. And it's probably already gone, whether you passed or failed. I don't know. You don't know. Yahweh's always trying to help you before you have to do you. So when you do you informatively. You do you intelligently. You do you with good information that Yahweh alone has given you. So again, certain dreams can be prophetic, meaning someone, and this is often what happens, someone passes away. Well, every time I dream about death, somebody dies and the person dies. I just dream. That's wonderful, dear heart. But Yahweh is not trying to tell you that they're going to die. Yahweh is telling you you're going to be affected by the death. Here is how you got to operate at the time of event and after. Y'all gonna make me do it. Y'all gonna make me do it. Y'all gonna make me. I was trying to get through a service without having to do it.
Whoa! Whoa!
Are y'all understanding this? So here are some things I want us to really understand about dreams and how they work. And I can give you so much more. Y'all think I got enough information to come back and do a part 2 on this if y'all want, because I got to get off of this.
Yes, sir. Part 2.
Are y'all learning though for real, or y'all just want to have a conversation about dreams? Because
Absolutely. I got a question.
Okay. So one I want you to catch is this, and I want you to walk away from this with an understanding. Dreams are completely and always emphatically instructions only from Elohim. I don't care if the dream is scary, murder, death, mayhem, Freddy Krueger is in it. That means that you like watching scary movies. And since you like watching scary movies, he's going to put a character you so used to listening to and be afraid of. I said that out loud. Dreams require interpretation. This is where the New Testament believer got to be. Because according to 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 1 through 12, it is the appropriate way to interpret dreams. Ruach HaKodesh does that for us. And you must have there is a modality to that. There is a functionality to that. Number 3 is that dreams, even if considered prophetic, are in fact clearly a prophecy is an instruction. But they're always going to be based out of the book of instructions. They're going to be able to tie back into the book of instructions. And that's what we're going to get. Dreams cannot be learned by going to school. Well, there was a school of the prophets. None of them interpreted dreams. Well, the school of the prophets wasn't a school where they learned to prophesy and speak in unknown tongues. So they spoke in unknown tongues way back in the days of the prophets. So, and they prophesied back in those days. They prophesied of things to come. That was the overshadowing of Ruach HaKodesh. Being a part of the school of prophets, like you saw with King Saul, that was what those people who had that tenure, you couldn't just go and say, I want to sign up for the school of prophets because I feel like being a prophet. I think I could be a prophet. And if I pay my tuition, $2,647 for 8 weeks, then I will be a prophet. I'm going to go to the school of prophets so I can learn how to prophesy. Yeah. No. They were already in spirit. Samuel was already the judge and a prophet himself, and he knew the schools because he was like, you guys have that gift. Y'all go over there. That's how he even selected King Saul, because King Saul's fivefold ministry function was a gift, was a prophet. Moshe was a prophet. If I'm correct, even his predecessor or his successor was a prophet. Samuel was a prophet. Who he succeeded was a prophet. And they were all judges. Deborah was a prophet. Huldah was a prophet. All of them ran as governors over Israel. Moshe was a prophet. So these things you got to understand. So when Samuel was being selected based on, or Saul was being selected, Samuel went with what he knew. And this is an important thing. And I want y'all to catch that, learn that. So dreams cannot be learned by school of dreams on how to interpret prophecy or dreams. Again, refer back to 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verses 1 through 12, after Messiah on that cross has gone on. Remember, the word is now in you, in your head, in your heart, and it takes an external word presenter to draw that out of you, and then you see what Yahweh is doing. My job is done here. I got questions on platform. I got time. Go. Moderators, who's first? Moderators, who's first? And I might have to cut some of them off. Moderators, tell me who's first, and we'll go from there.
I have Gish and Wanda Clark.
Okay, Gish, go.
Okay, so my question is back to the serpent. So my question is,
We can't hear you, Gish. We can't.
My question is, did evil overtake the serpent? Did it have to convince did it overtake the serpent, or did it have to convince the serpent to allow it to be used in the garden?
Okay. Beasts of the field do not have souls. Dogs, cats, serpents, birds, they don't have souls. Humans do. So it's easy for them to be possessed. Got it?
Yes, that's what I was just wondering.
We didn't hear you, Gish.
Yes, that's what I kind of figured, but I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, good. All right, great question. Anybody else? Moderators, who's next?
Wanda Clark.
Wanda Clark, go.
Shalom, Apostle, and everybody in the room. First and foremost, I need to say this. It's such a blessing to be under the true living vine. You know, things happen in season all the time. When the Ruach is moving, when Yahweh is moving, you know that you're under the true living vine and you're a branch because it's happening to you.
Okay.
Right? On Saturday in Shabbat, the gentleman that you interpreted this dream after we got off, it is no coincidence that, okay, I keep a book next to my bed because I get dreams and I was taught to write them down. And so I've been doing that. But after Saturday, there was some dreams that I got. I think it was Saturday, it was Sunday, and then it was Monday night, not Tuesday. So I wrote them down and it was in succession. And I need to say this. what it was, I'm not going to say the dream, but I'm going to say.
Yeah, please don't. Go ahead.
No, I won't. Culmination of my past and my present, and some things together. And what you did today for me was like, bring them all together, get a better understanding. Because already was taught, being under my grandfather and my father, that when you get dreams, they're from they
Elohim.
God. I understand his name is Yahweh now. So I already knew that as a child. But to understand now, and the culmination of all of this for me, is to understand the things that he's telling me, and some of them that I wanted to run away from, right? That you said that are scary or whatever, not Freddy Krueger scary, but scary to me because of some things from my past. Because I have a past that I don't like to delve into, but I delve into because I had to go back to go forward to come to where I'm going. And so to know that something that you don't want to really deal with, that you are dealing with, is a blessing, is what I got from the teaching today. So when I get the dreams that I get and I write it down, don't run from the answer, because Ruach has been giving me the interpretation. Not the answer. Don't be afraid, because one of them was with somebody that passed away that I didn't speak to, and I had guilt, right? But what was given to me is that from what you said today, what I took from it is that don't feel that way any longer. You know, I don't know where she went, and that's not my business. But I understand that I can't make that a burden within myself.
Right. I assure you that there's much more in that dream, dear heart. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Though you feel like you have the interpretation of that dream, you may be well on the pathway, but there are more instructions for you from that. You're focused on well, that's why we're having this conversation. And again, I can't even interpret my own dreams, though I interpret thousands. Because the person who has the dream will be fixated on one thing when Yahweh has 4 or 5 different things inside that dream for you to pay attention to. Not just, and granted, you have a very good piece where you say, I need to let that go. You know, she's gone, right? That's it. You think that's it? I promise you there's so much more inside that dream that gives you instructions going forward. I promise you.
That's what I was saying. In the dreams, there's so many different things. So that's why I have to write it down. And the Ruach will guide me. I don't think you ever get an answer. You don't get an answer till you go home and be with the Lord. But I mean, because the dreams are in succession and they're going to keep coming. And I can go back to dreams from years before. So not a question. My statement is this. I don't have it, but it's so many pieces. I agree. I concur with you. There's so many moving parts of a dream.
Right.
Am I right?
Well, that's what we're saying. That's the whole purpose of what we're saying. So the issue is all the moving parts. Do not think that you won't get it until you go to the good old by and by. That's not true. You will. Yahweh's not going to give you anything in this earth to look at and then not give you the definition of it. That's what Messiah says. I call you friends. I don't call you servant. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. So Deuteronomy 29:29 also goes on to indicate that he will tell you and show you what you need to know. Deuteronomy 29:29. Let me grab it real quick. I know it, but I want to make sure I quote it right because I don't want to misquote it. I mean, I don't want to just paraphrase it. The secret things belong unto Yahweh or Elohim, but those things which have been revealed belong to us and our children forever, that we may do all the law. So if he gives you a dream, that's a secret thing. He's going to reveal it to you. If there's secret things he don't reveal to you, they ain't for you. But when he gives you a dream, that's a reveal of something he's trying to instruct you with. This is where we have to remain practical and I dare say pragmatic, but literally practical about that and get those things done. So that's what we have. So when you get dreams back to back, people, in a period of time, you're never going to get the same dream. And sorry, that's wrong. You may at times get the same dream. That's important, like I did. I had to get that dream several times. When I got it interpreted, I understood it, but I didn't. I just thought it was nothing, right? And then as I learned, that was when I was young in faith. As I matured and understood, and my apostle guided me through all these things, I realized and found out that, okay, He had been trying to tell me something to keep me from what I saw in the dream. Then you have this last piece, and I'm done. I got to let this ride. There's this last piece where you get dreams in succession, and they'll sometimes come in different forms, but it's the same message. Now, don't just lock that in because, oh, he said that. No, there are times when Yahweh has to use different things to get your attention, and we're like the wind. This got our attention this week, and that got our attention the next week, and this got our attention next month. And Yahweh uses whatever is primary for you to get his divine instruction to you. Always remember that he switches up like you switch up. So when the seasons change and your phase change and your what is viral, especially now in this modern day of media, everything changes. Who's viral today is not viral tomorrow. So those types of symbolisms that you tend to gravitate to and catch your attention the most, Yahweh uses them, plugs them in to get the message to you. So be conscious of that. We'll come back and talk more about that later on. Okay. I can't, Montgomery. I got. Oh, what do you got? You're on stream. What do you got?
It's 2 questions out here.
Okay. Who's putting all those passages up there on my screen like that? Who's doing that? Find out what they want, what those are for. Go ahead. What's your question, Montgomery?
Beverly Phillips says, how long do you have before getting your dreams interpreted?
Yeah, that's not a way that we can determine that. The instruction is to get it as soon as you can. When you get a dream, like Minister Wanda's doing, like I do, when you wake up, when you have a dream, most of you wake up after the dream, write it down. Y'all wake up, I gotta go back to sleep, I'll remember it. No, you won't. Half y'all is over 50 and 46. And anyway, y'all didn't forgot stuff. You ain't take your ginkgo biloba. You know you're not gonna remember it. Wake up, write it down, and then we can talk about it later. I have to do it even for, sermons. I'll be riding down the road. I'm like, okay, I got a great thought for something I want to study. And then by the time I get home, I say, I'll remember it. I needed to go ahead and tell Siri, remind me, Siri, make a note, whatever. Because if I don't, I'm not saying I'm forgetful, but it can happen. So much comes in between from here to there that things can happen. So make a journal, put it next to your bed. And when you get a dream, you wake up. Most of y'all don't realize you wake up. He did it on purpose. He wakes you up so you can jot it down while it's fresh in your mind. Even if you only get a 50% of it, when you go back to reread it, Ruach will trigger the memory all over in your mind. Remember, that's his job, to show you all things and bring all things back to your remembrance. Y'all got that?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What else you got?
The other is from Selena Godchild. She says, what does it mean when you have 3 to 4 dreams at one time?
I think we explained that earlier in the other part about the successive dreams, the perpetual, the different types of dreams. There is a message. Any dream is an instruction. Until you get that instruction or the event passes that you needed the instruction for, then the dream stops. So, some people are like, well, why don't I dream? Well, there's reasons. Some reasons are that you're in tune with him. He don't need to get your attention. Others are, we're not dreaming because we're not really trying to be sensitive to Elohim for him to guide and run our lives. And until we run into a point where he's like, okay, you got to make a choice, then he hits us with different dreams. These are years and years and years of counseling and dream interpretation and personal dreams that you guys are gleaning from, not some hocus pocus alakazam, sprinkle oil on you and spit, vodka and throw a chicken wing out there and tell you, yadabo shata, God said in your dream. No, this is not that. This is real practical stuff where there is instructions for your profit. All right. Hope that helps. Why are all these passages? John, what are you putting up there, John? And why? It's a lot of passages. We don't rock like that here. Is this in support? John Roby, please tell me if this is in support or in contest with what we're sharing today on this proceeding word. Yeah, the chicken wing, I promise you. Let me see what this is. John, identify yourself, please. or someone take them off. If they don't identify themselves, take them off and take down every post they put up. Let me go see what this is. Jeremiah 23, 28. Okay. What's your point, John? The prophet that hath a dream, let him tell a dream. And he that hath my word, let him speak my word faithfully. What is the chaff to the wheat, says Yahweh. So it appears you're supporting that, but I'm trying to figure out why you're not communicating back with me. So I'll take one more just to make sure we're in the same vein. I don't want to have issues on platform with this today. Yahweh be praised. John, I think you're supporting those. Luke chapter 21. Luke 21, 13, 15, 21, 13, 15. All right, I got to get up here. He laid his hand on her head. Immediately she was straight gay. The ruler of the synagogue answered indignation. Yeshua said, healed on the Sabbath 6 days. The Sabbath was a work, and then healed on the Sabbath day. And Yahweh answered, said unto him, thou hypocrite, dost not thou, each one of you on the Sabbath, lose an ox or an ass? I'm not understanding where is that connecting at? 21, 13 through 15. Did I miss it? Okay, I'm in the wrong place. Luke 21, 13 through 15. And it shall turn to your testimony. Settle it therein in your hearts, not to meditate before what you shall answer. For I will give you a mouth of wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay against. So it appears, John, I don't know why you're not responding to me, that you are in support of this. Yahweh be praised. We'll come back. Contact me back channel, John. I'd love to talk with you more about it. And we will go from there. All right, everybody, I got to get out of here. I am very much late for my appointments for today, and I got to get them done because Sabbath is soon approaching. Tonight, I want y'all to come back in. Minister Jackie, are you still there? Or are you gone?
Shalom, I'm still here.
Can you take us out on the announcements, please, my beloved?
Thank you so much for being here with us in the preceding word, where we broadcast live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please note that we're back here this evening at 7 p.m. for our weekly Bible study, and again tomorrow, Thursday, at 7 p.m. for our Bible Book Club. You do not want to miss that. Just to also note, tonight we will be continuing part 3 of Tour of Duty. Please do join. Also to note, we're here every Friday as we open up at 11 p.m. and again at 11 a.m. for our Sabbath Midrash studies. And if you have not done so, we invite you to follow our club. You'll find us at BWJ Ministries. We are on Facebook, YouTube, and here on Clubhouse and Instagram. And also we extend the invitation for you to be with us every Sunday at 10:15 a.m. as we join together for our weekly church service. It's been a pleasure serving you, Apostle. Back to you.
I appreciate you so much, Minister Jackie, and all the moderators who help us do what we do. Looking forward to some great times. We'll come back again with part 2 of dreams, differences of what the church says and what the Torah says about dreams, the teachings on dreams and their significance and how they are practically to be used in your lives. Well, until we get a chance to meet again, remember, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that does proceed out of the mouth of Yahweh, who is our Elohim. Now, may Yahweh bless you and keep you is my prayer. Hope to see you again soon. I mean that. I'm looking forward to it. Shalom Aleichem.
Let's talk kingdom. He's the one you can lean on. He don't change. He stays the same. Won't find a better reason. No. So come tap in. Just listen. And bring a friend. Let's spread this vision. Let's talk kingdom. He's the one you can